What's up, guys? All right, so today I've got something a little bit rare. A lot of you may never even seen this pistol, may not even knew that it even existed or that Glock ever made it. Now, this is your standard Gen 4 Glock 21 45 ACP. Everybody in the world has probably seen one of these. A lot of people probably own one of these. This is one of the newer Gen 4s. Great gun. I've only shot it once, but no malfunctions. I've owned a lot of 21s and no issues at all with any of them. Now, let me show you what Glock made in 2007. This is the second one of these that I have owned. I sold my first one and I reacquired a second one a few months ago. It ain't been that long. I've been meaning to do a video on it for quite a while now. But this gun is actually pretty rare. They only made these in 2007, and I forget what months. It was only like 5 or 6 months that they actually made them, and mine was one of the last ones made. It was in June of 2007 by the serial number. But what am I talking about? Look at this. How many of you all have ever seen a Glock with a full pick rail? And for those of you that are not real familiar, this is what a normal Glock looks like. It has one Glock rail, that's what they call it, up here in the front. Whereas in 2007, they made some 21s with a full Picatinny rail from the factory. This is not one of those, kits you put together that has the pick rail on them and stuff like that. This is actually a factory Glock frame with a factory Glock pick rail. Another thing that is actually pretty different about this gun than other guns, and I'll tell you why. This is why you don't see a lot of these, is this has an ambidextrous slide or mag release. Sorry, mag release. Now, these mag releases were prone to breaking. And now let me show you why. Let me go ahead and take this apart. I'll show you why that this is, if we can actually get down in here and see it. I don't know if you can actually see that down in there. Let me use a flashlight here and see if we can actually get it down in there. Okay, now you can see right here when I push that, there's a little lever down in here that actually pushes forward and allows this magazine to be released from either side, depending on which side you push the magazine release with. Now, these were prone to breaking, and I guess Glock just didn't get a better design or gave up on the design or something like that. But instead of, trying to figure out how to make that better, trying to make that piece stronger, they just replaced a lot of frames. You could actually send your gun in and Glock would just replace the frame with essentially a Gen 3 frame that looks like this. This is Gen 4. It would be, the grip would be like this, but you would have just a single rail in it, or if it's a single Glock rail, and a single-sided mag release. Now, I'm not going to send this one in because this gun, again, is a rare gun. It's not something you see every day. I actually looked on Gunbroker when I picked this one up. I've not looked lately, but there was not a single one of these on Gunbroker at the time whenever I looked it up. So these are just kind of hard to come by. Again, this is my second one. I bought my first one brand new, and I got this one, like I said, just a few months ago. Has your standard Glock kind of mushy trigger, has a positive reset like a Glock, and just like all the Gen 3s, this is pretty slick, and it does not have an ambidextrous slide stop on it. But what I want to do now is, I've not shot this yet, so let's put a few rounds through this, and I'll finish up this video. This isn't something I'm going to shoot a lot because I don't want to use this magazine release a ton. I'm probably not even going to keep a magazine in this when I store it, just to try to make sure that there isn't any pressure on that bar or something like that. But without further ado, let's put a few magazines through it and just see how she runs. Right off the bat, it don't run too well. I've already had a stoppage. Oh, it just won't go in. Let me take a round out and see if it'll fix it. Okay, we have 12 rounds in here now instead of 13. And it cycled it. Maybe that 13th round was just a little too tight for it. Maybe this spring is a little worn out inside it and I need to get a new recoil spring. I don't know. This was a used gun, but it probably had less than 100, 150 rounds through it. Okay guys, there's just something I want to show you. So you can see the regular Gen 3 magazines, the old Gen 3s, only had a notch on one side for the magazine release to catch. Now the new ones have a notch on both sides. Now I'm not going to load around in here, but when I load this magazine, it's pretty tight. Let me take a round out. This gun does not like that 13th round. So I load a magazine. So a loaded magazine like this won't even go in it. No, that magazine won't even seat. Let me try another Gen 4. I think I've got another Gen 4. Let me see if it's just this Gen 4 magazine, or if all Gen 4s loaded, just will not go in this pistol. All right, guys, a couple more Gen 4s. No, that didn't go either. And there's a little catch inside it when you try to do that. Like, that's what I was wanting to show you guys. I noticed when you put Gen 4 magazines in it, that it actually has like a catch in it. That wasn't seated, and it still kind of caught it. I'm not sure. You heard it click there, and it goes, oh, this is a Gen 3. Well, duh, Andy, that's why it went in. All right, Gen 4. It goes in, there's just a little catch when it comes out, and the Gen 3s don't do that. Let's try Gen 4 running through it and see if it actually does work. Hey guys, before we go any further in the video, I'd like to thank Underwood Ammo for supplying some of the ammo that we'll be using in this video. This is their 255 grain high-tech coated bullet. You can see right there. And again, I want to thank Underwood Ammo for sponsoring some of the ammo we'll be using today. All right guys, again, this magazine would not go in without the slide lock back. Let's see if it'll even load around. It did load. Let's see if it'll function. All right, guys, everything seemed to function perfectly fine. It locked the slide back. With the magazine unloaded, it will go in, but I can still feel that little click. But with a loaded magazine, for some odd reason, it just would not seat in this gun. I don't know why that was, but as you can see right there, the gun functioned flawlessly with these magazines. I guess if you have one of these, or maybe yours is different than the one I own, but if you have one of these, if you want to run the newer style magazines with the two cutouts in them, you will actually probably have to load it with the slide locked back. All right, guys, here's the Gen 3 loaded full Underwood ammo. We can see right here, it's seated, no problems at all. It's a little tight with 13 rounds in it, but it's seated and it came out. I do want to show you, you can actually hit the slide release on the other side. It will drop the magazine as well. This is one of the only ambidextrous or full ambidextrous magazine release pistols, and I'm pretty sure it's the only one that they ever made a pick rail on too. So there again, it's a SF version. I think the SFs are the only ones they made these in. These were pretty rare. So if you can find one, maybe there'll be some collector's value in it later on. Let's see how it runs this Underwood. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, that Underwood ammo is hot. I could tell a huge difference in recoil between that ammo and the Blazer brass stuff that I've been shooting up until now. That stuff is moving. I could just, the recoil, I'm sure you could tell in the video, the recoil was a big difference between that and the Blazer brass. All right, guys, so there you have it. Pretty rare Glock. Again, I don't know if a lot of you have even seen one of these or even knew they existed, because this is, the traditional Glock that everybody owns and everybody either loves or hates. But this is just kind of an oddball that I run across one day at my local gun store, and I was like, hey, I'd like to have one of them. And I picked it up, and foolishly, I traded it off because I didn't shoot it very much. But fortunately, I got the opportunity to pick up another one. Let me know in the comments, have you ever seen this Glock? Did you even know they made this Glock? Because like I said, I bet a lot of people did not. This isn't something you want to seek out if you want something to carry, because like I said, there was apparently a pretty high failure rate of the magazine release bar in there. That's why Glock was allowing people to send those back. So it's probably not something you want to seek out to find to carry. But if you're looking for something rare to kind of show your friends, or have a talking piece to people online, this might be something, if you're into the oddball things or something different this is probably something that you might want to actually look into. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.